Hello, I'm Justine Morris, and this is your Independence Update. Independence Township Parks and Recreation is once again holding a superhero party. This Friday, May 16th, from 6 to 7:30 p.m., you're invited to dress up as your favorite cartoon action hero. Help us fight crime superhero style. Join us for dinner, games, and a craft. A guest appearance will be made by Spider-Man and his friends. Each child must be accompanied by a parent or guardian, and the event will be held at the Waterford Recreation Center for children ages 2 to 5. What would happen if a 21st century Alice collided with Lewis Carroll's legendary Wonderland? This modern retelling of the classic children's story has all of the characters you know and love, including the Mad Hatter, the White Rabbit, and the Queen of Hearts. Currently, the Clarkson Village players are holding auditions for the show and are asking interested youth to come out and give it a try. Performance dates are at the end of July and the beginning of August. For more information, contact the Clarkson Village Players Youth Theater Director, Donna Ellis, at 248-881-3059. This Friday and Saturday, May 16th and 17th, Davisburg is hosting their community-wide craft show and garage sale. Sellers, here's your chance to sell those trinkets and gadgets you've packed away and no longer want or need. Crafters and independent product distributors are also welcome. Sellers keep their own profits and registration is required before the sale. Space is available inside the building, outside under the pavilion, and outside on the lawn. Space is limited and tables sell out fast, so reserve yours today. Lookers, come out and browse the Davisburg's biggest sale from 9:30 to 3:30 p.m. at the Mill Pond Park in Davisburg. Contact Springfield Township Parks and Recreation for more information. The Independence Elementary Student Council will be sponsoring an Independence Elementary Night at Culver's on Sashbell Road on Monday, May 19th. 10% of all the sales, dine-in or drive-through, from 6 to 8 p.m. will go directly back to support learning initiatives at Independence Elementary. So stop by and feel good about enjoying that burger and frozen custard. Join your neighbors this Saturday, May 17th, beginning at 10 a.m. for the Relay for Life of Clarkston. This is a community event to celebrate, fight back, and remember those we love and or have lost due to cancer. There will be a moving ceremony, kids games, and a silent auction, and much more. Please check out their Facebook page for more information and go to relayforlife.org to sign up or donate. Make sure to stay tuned for more information on this event from 2 of Clarkson's participants. If you have a story or information you'd like us to share on Independence Update, contact us at 248-623-3661 or email Matt Blow at mbleau@indetwp.com. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Stay tuned for the thread with Dr. Rock as well as an interview with a local author, LaVon Upton. With us again this week is Dr. Rod Rock for The Thread. Dr. Rock, what's happening with the Clarkson Community Schools?
Well, lots of great things are happening, Justine. On Friday, I was over at Western Michigan University for the Michigan Youth Arts Festival, where our very own Shelley Rowland was named the Music Teacher of the Year, and she conducted a jazz band. We had 2 of our students, Courtney Bell and Emily Hyde, who performed in the bands, and they achieved that honor by scoring high, very high level in solo and ensemble. So it was an outstanding weekend, and Brett McCall, who's our assistant middle school principal, and Mike Lewis and Justin Harris from the music department were all there to support Shelley, so it was a great event. We had our community awards breakfast this morning on May 13th, and Jim Evans, Gene Molzen, Sherry Schultz, John Coleman, Kelly Fitzpatrick, Cam Rasdar, Neiman's Family Market, and the Clarkston Area Optimists, and My Habitat Clarkston were all honored for their contributions to the community, and we have such an amazing community here in Clarkston and Independence Township, people who do so much and go above and beyond, so it was wonderful to be there and see those people receive those very well-deserved honors. And tonight, today is Tuesday, May 13th, there's a fundraiser at the Deer Lake Athletic Club for the Independence Township Library, and we know they have a very important election coming up on August 5th, and you've heard about that last week, and so we hope people will come out and support that very, very important cause. We also have senior awards tonight at the high school at 6 o'clock, and we have hundreds of our seniors who will be honored for their scholarships. We have many groups, community groups who come out and give scholarships to our senior students for athletics and arts and their contributions to the community. It's a very exciting evening. And we have our elementary schools give scholarships, all kinds of groups throughout the community, so it's really a wonderful event to celebrate those achievements. And then tonight, also, it's a very busy day. Justine.
It is. It sounds like a packed day.
It is. 9 o'clock, Team Rush will be over at overtime on Dixie Highway, where they'll watch the state championships, which they won a few weeks back. So they're going to be on PBS, and they'll gather together there to watch. So I'm going to try to get over there for that as well. It's very exciting to see them. And on May 14th, we have NHS induction here at the high school, and another great event for our students who work so hard for their community service and their scholarship. And they're inducted, and all the teachers who are involved with that and the staff. So I'm excited to be part of that again. And then on Thursday, we have the 6th grade orientation at the middle school. And all year long, Jennifer Johnson and Brett McCall have been leading that school. And as interim principal and assistant principal, respectively. And last night, our Board of Education officially named Liz Walker, who's an assistant principal here at the high school, as the new middle school principal. So we're very excited to welcome Liz to that position. She's done a great job here at the high school for the past 3 years. She came to us from another district not too far away and did a great job there. Was a great teacher, was involved in sports. She has a very nice family, and I know that they're excited. The parents and the staff are excited to have her over there and to get started. And last night at the board meeting, we also celebrated the Destination Imagination, the championships that they've won, and they'll be traveling on to Tennessee for the World Finals next week. So we're very excited for them. I believe there's a Clarkson High School team and also a team from Pine Knob Elementary School. So we want to wish them the very best and congratulate them on the outstanding work that they've done.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's happening with the educational research?
Well, Justine, I'm very interested in research. I think it's vitally important that our educators are tuned into that. And yesterday we had our administrators go over to Oakland schools, and we heard from a researcher from USC, and her name is Mary Helen Imordino Yang. And I've had the opportunity to hear from her several times, and I wanted all of our leaders to hear about that as well, because I think it's so vitally important. What she talks about and what she studies is the human brain and emotions related to learning. And the key idea that I took away from that session was that in order for people to learn, in order for you to remember, you have to have an emotional connection with the learning. You have to have some kind of emotional connection. It's not an option. It's not nice if it can happen sometimes or in some classrooms on some days. If we're going to learn, we're going to have emotional connections. And when you think about it, that makes a lot of sense. When we go through sad events in our lives, we often remember, very specific details, things that caused us to be scared, happy moments, a lot of the details of those things we remember because they're emotional. And when we think about memorization and when kids ask us, why do I have to learn this, or why do I have to take this class, and we have to say to kids, it's going to be important for you someday down the road, or this material is going to help you on the test, that's not an emotional connection to learning. That's a justification, and kids aren't going to really get into that. They're not going to be emotional about it. So it's vitally important for our teachers, our educators, and for us when we think about curriculum, when we think about assessment, to make sure that we're making those emotional connections for our learners, that we're paying attention to our individual learners, how they're smart, what they're passionate about, the things they care about, and that we're connecting those things to the learning, to the content. And so that's why I continue to say it's so important for our teachers to be very closely connected to the content that they teach. It can't be something that comes from the state or the federal government or some kind of a handbook. It has to be something that teachers have thought about, that they've contemplated, that they've wrestled with, and that they can, and then in turn they have to also know their students very well. They have to have relationships with their students. They have to know what they care about in order to be able to connect them with learning. She made a statement that we can't teach anybody anything. It's not as if we have this knowledge that we possess and we can open up somebody's brain and give it to them, put it inside. They have to learn it. They have to connect with it. So we really have to work hard with that idea, not only as students in our classrooms, but also as adults. So when I'm leading professional development for teachers, or when our principals, or when our central office people are doing that, we have to think about how do people learn, and how can we create the conditions in which we make sure people are learning? How do we get feedback from people to know that they're learning? How do we know that they're not just sitting there passively and going through the motions? How can we make their thinking visible? So I think when I was growing up, and for a long time, we used to think that we needed to learn more and more about teaching and how do I get better at teaching. And now I think the science has moved along to a point where we have to know more about learning, and we have to be experts on learning, how kids learn, how people learn. And then we have to take that information and we have to apply it into our classrooms, into our schools, into our assessment systems. Because there are so many prejudices, stereotypes that people have when they sit down to take a test. They're trying to overcome those stereotypes. Possibly if somebody has said to you, well, you're a girl and you're not supposed to be very good at math, or you come from this particular cultural background and you're not supposed to be very good at this, then your brain is working to overcome that stereotype instead of using your memory skills and your brain to concentrate on showing what you know on that test. So it really blocks your ability to show what you know. And so we have to be experts on learning. We have to continue to learn as an organization, and we have to continue to apply the research to our learning environments. So I'm grateful to Oakland Schools for giving us these kinds of learning opportunities, and to the Clarkston School Board, and to all of our leaders who continue to engage with their own learning and continue to strive to have the best possible school system.
Great. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.
Okay.
Thanks. We have a special treat for you this week. We're joined by Sarah and Caitlin from Relay for Life. Why not tell us a little bit about what Relay for Life is?
All right, well, Relay for Life is a chance for everyone in the community to come together and get involved and make a difference in the fight against cancer. It's basically you have teams coming together and walking on the track for 24 hours straight, because cancer never sleeps and neither do we.
All right. How can someone get involved?
Well, you don't actually have to be a part of a team to get involved. You can come up and be a part of the community by walking a few laps, participating in some of the events. We're gonna have a lot of moving ceremonies going on. There's gonna be henna tattoos, kids carnivals, all kinds of stuff.
All right. How long have you two been going?
I've been going ever since the 7th grade, so I really enjoy it.
Okay.
I've been going since I was 8 years old, got my first team in 7th grade.
What got you interested initially?
Through the leadership class at Clarkston High School.
Okay.
And just word of mouth.
All right.
Yep, personal experiences, word of mouth, I heard about it and thought it was a really cool thing.
Great. How much did you get donated last year?
Last year we raised about $79,000, which is pretty amazing, so we hope
Wow.
to exceed that this year as well.
Wow. I saw online you're already at like 35,000.
Yep, so the actual event will raise a
We'll
ton
raise
more.
it, right.
Yep.
Great. Well, thanks for coming on and sharing this with us.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Last month was Parkinson's Awareness Month. Parkinson's disease is a chronic and progressive movement disorder, meaning that symptoms continue and worsen over time. Parkinson's involves the malfunction and death of vital nerve cells in the brain, called neurons. Some of these dying neurons produce dopamine, a chemical that sends messages to the part of the brain that controls movement and coordination. As the disease progresses, the amount of dopamine produced in the brain decreases, leaving a person unable to control movement normally. Nearly 1 million people in the U.S. are living with Parkinson's disease. Joining us today is LaVon Upton, author of Behind the Mask of Parkinson's Disease, Personal Conversations with Parkinson's Patients and Their Loved Ones. LaVon is an involved mother of 2 and grandmother of 5. She's been a secretary, a model, movie extra, fashion consultant, makeup artist, teacher, seminar leader, business owner, designer, journalist, real estate investor, author, volunteer, and speaker. A long list of achievements there.
Well, when you've lived as long as I have, I guess, and been an entrepreneur, it becomes varied.
Right.
Some of the things I've been involved in, and fun.
Yes, well, that's great. Would you mind sharing with us a little bit of your story involving the Parkinson's disease?
Thank you, Justine, and thanks for having me. Well, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's 2.5 years ago, and I was really surprised, even though my younger brother had Parkinson's in around the year 2000. He got it when he was in his 50s, and he was pretty bad. He had dementia, Lewy body dementia, and he actually died with complications of the disease. And then my older brother in San Diego was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and now that I know about Parkinson's, I can see all the symptoms that were there. However, at the time, I didn't suspect it. What happened was I've had tremors for over 5 years, about 7 years now, and my regular doctor just told me they were benign tremors, which is typical of people when they get older. However, I also began to have other symptoms. I couldn't put pressure down to brush my teeth, and my writing was affected. I couldn't write like I did. So I began to stumble and fall, and one of my friends who walked with me went online, and she said, I hate to tell you this, but it sounds like Parkinson's. I went to a neurologist, and I was diagnosed. And even though it sounds very alarming, I was relieved to have an explanation of what was going on with me. Yeah.
So then what inspired you to write this book with other people in it?
Well, as soon as I was diagnosed, I found out through the Michigan Parkinson's Foundation that there was a support group in Rochester Hills, and so I attended within days. And for one of the special programs, they asked me to tell my story. And since I'm a writer, I had already written it. At the moment that I was diagnosed, I sat down and wrote my story. So upon hearing my story, my friend, Harriet Marina, said, wouldn't it be great if we could have everybody's stories and then really understand what's going on with people in our group? We have a really active group in Rochester Hills. There's 40 or 50 members. So I said, hey, I'll do that because I like writing. And I got volunteers right away. I interviewed over 50 people, loved doing it. And one of the reasons too is I chose the title Behind the Mask because Parkinson's affects the muscles. It's called a movement disorder, and there's around 43 muscles in the face. And so when those muscles don't work, then the face takes on kind of a blank look, an expressionless look, and that's why I chose the title Behind the Mask. And also, I knew these people. I knew that they were accomplished people, really bright people, had a great sense of humor, but looking at them, they looked kind of deadpan and without any expression, and I just wanted people to know what went on behind the mask, or in other words, the person behind the disease.
Right. Now, I read in one of the book reviews, a man said that the crowning glory of the book was providing the thoughts of the caregivers, as much as the patients. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Sure. That was a review written by a doctor, a neuroscientist from the UK, and actually it's a great book for doctors because they don't go home with the patient and they don't know really the mundane, everyday things that a Parkinson's person deals with. So he was especially impressed because it was a view he didn't see, and also the caregiver plays such an important role, and I interviewed them also and reported in their voice how they feel and what they go through.
Right. Was there anything that you came across while doing this book that surprised you?
Yes. Well, people are so careless with their medications. So first of all, I thought, this is so important, the medication is so important, but they were careless about the way they took it, staying on schedule, or even understanding what they were taking. Some people, bright as they are, just do what the doctor tells them and don't observe how it's affecting them. And also, they as I say, they may drop them on the floor, you know, and not remember if they took their medication or not. A lot of people have to depend on their caregivers, but someone like me who lives alone, you know, it's important for people to know what's going on and with their medication. And the other thing that surprised me is outwardly you see this person that's dealing with, you know, this expressionless look, this maybe shuffling, stiffness of movements, and it's hard to get around. But really the most isolating thing for people is the fact that their voice is soft, and after a while it becomes like a monotone, and also slow. The speech is slow, they're slow to respond. So as a result of the voice or lack of voice, they become socially isolated and they withdraw. They get tired of repeating themselves, and people don't wait for them to finish their thoughts, so they just become isolated.
Right. Where can we get the book?
The book is available online at either Amazon or CreateSpace, and it's also available through a post office box number.
Right. And then I heard the proceeds go
The
to
proceeds are
foundation?
going back to the education and awareness of Parkinson's, and there's a couple of vehicles, but mainly our support group or the Michigan Parkinson's Foundation, because that's their purpose, is to educate people and make them aware. And I just wanted to mention I was in Montreal in October at the World Parkinson's Congress, and even though there's no cure in sight and they don't know the cause, there were people, neuroscientists, neurologists, geneticists from all over the world that were there studying the disease for a cure. So that's very encouraging.
Right. Thank you. Thank you for coming on and joining us and sharing the story with us.
Thank you, Justine.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see you another time.
Great.
Yes.
I'd love to come back.
Great. Thanks for watching.
Did you want to see a copy of the book?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and show it. See you next week.